Black and White Network supporters, make sure you go over and check out the Black and White Network merchandise store. 25% off USA First. 25% off USA First. Go now. I'm back. Rhodes for the Matrixx and Rhodes show. I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of days. I was waiting to see if anything else came out that would give me an idea of what this is going to be about. We're talking about Crystal Lake. Now, if you guys are a fan of this channel or my old channel, Rhodes Rants, you know that I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. Jason Voorhees is my jam. I love horror movies. I used to own a horror website that actually got pretty big for a while until I just got too busy to work it, which is a shame, but thanks Google, because I got in a big dispute over how many views I actually was getting versus what they were showing I was getting, and it just didn't make sense to keep running the website anymore. It was a shame. I mean, we're talking 300,000 views at one point over the course of several months in a row. And so anyway, I love horror movies. I love slashers. And now we've got what was called a prequel series, Crystal Lake, coming to Peacock, which is the same streaming service that gave us Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. However, Bryan Fuller is behind this. Of course, he was behind Hannibal, and Hannibal was one of the best television series I've ever seen. It was a re-imaging of the telling of the story of Hannibal Lecter, and Jason is coming. Okay, and he explains why Jason is coming. Jason will be in this series, and it's considered a prequel / remake / sequel. And it's gonna be a re-imaging of this situation. And we're gonna get to see a lot of the different incarnations of Jason in this story. And he tells us why, because we know there's still legal issues around this whole thing. Well, they found him a nice little loophole, it seems here. The Friday the 13th franchise is famous for various things. This is Dark Horizons. One of them being the legal quagmire the franchise has found itself in over the years, with all sorts of court battles over rights. Yesterday came the news that Bryan Fuller and A24 were teaming up on a Friday the 13th prequel series called Crystal Lake, which they're crafting for the Peacock streaming service. This can't start soon enough. Fuller, of course, created the acclaimed series Hannibal. God, it was good. Which is also famously based on a horror property, and which could only use certain elements from Thomas Harris source material due to rights issues. Fuller has since spoken with Fangoria about the news and was asked what characters, locations, so forth from the existing Friday the 13th franchise he could use. It turns out he has flexibility. Quote, everything. We can use everything. We can go to hell. We can go to space. That's not to say that we will do those things. Although if we go 10 years, I might be lobbying hard to go to space. A24 and Mark Toberoff, who is Victor Miller's lawyer, have beautifully and excruciatingly assembled all of the Friday the 13th rights. As a streaming series, we have the rights to do everything under the Friday the 13th umbrella. How about that? The movie rights are a completely different thing. They're tied up at New Line and are super, super messy and probably won't be untangled anytime soon. But as far as us chickens in the television industry, roost, we have access to anything and everything that Friday the 13th has done up to this point. Man, this is good news. Though the project has been dubbed a prequel series, Fuller said he's taking the Hannibal approach. Boy, that's also good news. In that it's going to be more of a pre-remake rule series. But couldn't elaborate. He does say, quote, I think over the course of the series, you will see many familiar manifestations of Jason. He also says that, like Hannibal, expect this to have a bold visual look, and that's a big reason that we went with Peacock, as they were given a, quote, full season commitment with a huge penalty if we don't do a second season. Oh, that's good. And they will get roughly 5 times the per episode budget that they had with Hannibal. Don't expect it to hold back on the body count, with Fuller promising, I think we'll be dropping bodies every episode. He also says he's been laying out the first 3 seasons of the series, but does promise if we get to 10 seasons, I'm going to make a concerted effort to find a rationally and dramatically and in some way, fashion, go to space. I cannot imagine how he would pull that off in any kind of way that makes any sense. Of course, he's talking about Jason X. Man, this. If you're a Friday fan, this sounds really promising. I mean, look, we should always hold back. We don't know how this is going to go, but we at least have some major frame of reference with how good Hannibal was, with how this could be. Okay, I don't know what the tone of it's going to be like. I don't know if it's going to be kind of campy like the 80s movies, but obviously at times very serious. I don't know if it's, I would assume he says bold visually. Hannibal was extremely bold visually, and it's very surprisingly gory at times. It was the goriest thing I can remember ever being on network television. And I'm going to tell you, Hannibal was fantastic. Like, I made a point, it was appointment television, where I made a point to tune in, be ready every time Hannibal came on. Such a good series, an excellent series. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do with Pamela Voorhees, with Jason Voorhees, with Crystal Lake. The fact that it sounds to me like he's taking the movies and he's just going to tell that story throughout the series. And will we get Tommy Jarvis? That's the question. I know I have to ask. I want to know. I always felt like that if there would have been any justice in the Friday franchise, it would have been that Tommy Jarvis would have taken on a Laurie Strode kind of Michael Myers versus Laurie kind of mentality throughout the series as it progressed from 4 to 6 and then on. We never got that. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. Will he actually have a couple of imposter episodes? Like, a new beginning? Could it be that Roy shows up, imposter Jason, later on in the series, and then the big justice there would be he gets killed by Jason? Oh, that would be great. That would be really good. Tell me what you think, Matrixx and Roadshow fans. I wanted to talk about this series. I'm excited. Knowing it's coming from the Hannibal series creator, I mean, this cannot get here quick enough. If you're a Friday fan, let me know what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.